Welcome to Prime Power USA, where America's biggest stories unfold. Stay informed, stay powerful.
Case in point, yesterday, as part of his White House ballroom project, he sent out a backhoe to rip off a chunk of the East Wing. That is it. We are not giving him the security deposit back. Yvonne, can we see that picture again? That is so deeply unsettling. It's like being a kid and seeing your teacher at the grocery store for sale.
On Sunday, he sat up in bed and posted, the NFL has to get rid of that ridiculous-looking new kickoff rule. How can they make such a big and sweeping change so easily and quickly? It's at least as dangerous as the normal kickoff and looks like hell. Sissy football is bad for America and bad for the NFL.
It started with a phone, a live microphone, and one of the world's most powerful men watching from home. At the Oscars, Jimmy Kimmel took out his phone, read the president's angry message word for word, and ended with a joke that went viral. Isn't it past your jail time? The crowd burst into laughter. Cameras captured everyone smiling. And in that moment, Hollywood turned Donald Trump's need for attention into a public embarrassment.
We're just 9 months into Trump's turn, and he's going Hulk smash on the White House. Last time, it took him at least 4 years to bring a demo crew to the Capitol. This is happening after Trump specifically promised his ballroom construction wouldn't touch the existing White House. Here he is talking about it this summer.
It won't interfere with the current building. It'll be near it, but not touching it, and pays total respect to the existing building, which I'm the biggest fan of. It's my favorite place. I love it.
So that was a lie.
Now, instead of the Chinese government harvesting our thoughts, interests, and personal information, Trump's buddy will have them instead. At least it's somebody we can trust, though, right?
March 10th, 2024, inside the Dolby Theater during the 96th Academy Awards, what should have been Hollywood's biggest night turned into a major roast aimed at the 47th President of the United States. Jimmy Kimmel was in the middle of his monologue when news came in that Trump, posting from the White House residence on Truth Social, had called him the worst Oscars host ever. According to reports, the producers advised Kimmel not to respond.
What I said was this.
I just got a review, and has there ever been a worse host than Jimmy Kimmel at the Oscars? His opening was that of a less than average person trying too hard to be something which he is not and never can be. Get rid of Kimmel and perhaps replace him with another washed up but cheap ABC talent, George Slopanopoulos. He would make everybody on stage look bigger, stronger, and more glamorous. Blah, blah, blah. Make America great again. Okay, now, see if you can guess which former president just posted that on Truth. Anyone? No? Well, thank you, President Trump. Thank you for watching. I'm surprised you're still... Isn't it past your jail time?
Cutaway shots showed stars like Emma Stone and Bradley Cooper laughing so hard it felt like they were watching a historic moment. ABC's live broadcast captured everything, and news outlets from The Guardian to The Hollywood Reporter published headlines before the show even ended. By the next morning, the White House press office tried to act like it wasn't a big deal, but the internet kept talking about it. The story wasn't just a joke anymore. It felt like a complete role reversal, with the president watching the Oscars and getting roasted live on stage.
Time magazine dropped a new issue to commemorate the deal. Let's take a look at his heroic cover shot. Okay. Worst Georgia O'Keeffe ever. You know what?
We've had a hell of a couple of weeks, but I did get some exciting news this weekend. According to a new poll from YouGov, which is a serious polling site, or they were before this, I am more popular than the President of the United States.
For a man known for controlling attention and dominating airtime, Kimmel flipped the spotlight and turned him into the joke. With one line, the power dynamic shifted. But it didn't stop there. The next night on his show, Kimmel doubled down, joking that Trump's Truth Social rant was his new trophy. Holding up his phone like an award, he said, "I've got my Oscar now. It's called a Trump post." The audience laughed again, and the feud quickly turned into a lesson in how to outsmart someone obsessed with attention on live television.
Considering the fact that I'm not a convicted felon friend of Jeffrey Epstein, and I've never paid off a porn star or sent a team of masked goons into a park to pull an old lady away from her grandchildren, I feel like my rating should be higher maybe than... At this point, finding a toenail in your salad has a 7-point lead over Donald Trump. And I hope he doesn't see this. I hate to, I don't like to upset him, but I think he might be upset because the White House put out a statement this afternoon. This is a real statement. Over 77 million Americans showed up on Election Day to cast their ballots for President Donald J. Trump, who is delivering on his overwhelming mandate to put America first. Jimmy Kimmel prays every night to garner a fraction of that support to keep his show on air after ratings dropped 64% last week. Sad. I like sad with an exclamation point,
Late-night hosts have joked about Trump before, but Kimmel did it live in front of a worldwide audience using Trump's own words, which made the moment feel more like exposure than just a roast. It showed how comedy can challenge power in real time, and many viewers saw it as proof that satire is still one of the most honest forms of commentary on television. And the story didn't end there. By October 2025, another monologue added a new chapter to the pattern.
At this point, should we even believe that this is going to end up being a ballroom? It could just as easily end up being a combination Pizza Hut Taco Bell. Now, someone in his administration is clearly smart enough to know how bad this looks because the Treasury Department is right next door facing the demolition, and Treasury has now told their employees not to share any photos of the construction. Not generally something you instruct when you're proud of what's going on. Hey guys, remember, no photos at my wedding. And it's not because I'm marrying a body pillow of Mariah Carey.
Kimmel opened by showing Trump's latest Truth Social rant, this time about a Time magazine cover he didn't like. Pretending to sound concerned, Kimmel joked that Trump seemed upset because the lighting wasn't flattering. The audience laughed, but the deeper message hit hard. The idea of a world leader losing sleep over a photo made it seem like image mattered more than anything else, painting a picture of someone undone by his own obsession with how he looks.
You know what else is sad? That the President of the United States has a lower approval rating than Diddy and diarrhea. That's what's sad. If he's looking, and no one cares very deeply about this sort of thing, if he's looking to improve his approval numbers, I have an idea. Release the Epstein files. Yeah.
Did you ever think the President of the United States would be celebrating your unemployment?
I mean, that son of a bitch, is really unbelievable.
Mr. Son of a bitch.
I mean,
Mr. Son of a bitch.
His royal... Yes, no, I never imagined that we'd ever have a president like this, and I hope we don't ever have another president like this again. I never even imagined there would ever be a situation in which the president of our country was celebrating hundreds of Americans losing their jobs. But somebody who took pleasure in that, that to me is the absolute opposite of what a leader of this country is supposed to be.
CNN and Variety both covered the segment, and late-night fans kept sharing clips for days. Kimmel's real strength wasn't anger or outrage, but sharp, precise humor that turned self-importance into comedy. Then the focus shifts to another stage, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, May 1, 2017. Colbert sits at his desk with rolled-up sleeves and a fired-up audience as Trump, after attacking CBS in an interview, becomes the target of what would go on to be one of the most talked-about monologues in late-night TV history.
Yesterday, at the White House, Trump talked about his wrecking ballroom. And the one thing I don't think we make enough fun of is how his brain is filled with cotton candy fantasies of lavish princely soirees.
So you'll have drinks, cocktails, everything on this floor. And then they'll say, welcome to dinner. You walk into the ballroom, Mr. Senators, and you're going to see a ballroom the likes of which I don't think it'll be topped.
There'll be drinks, cocktails, like this, drinks and cocktails.
The vast majority say they want to see the Epstein files. 77% of Americans want the Epstein files released, but 100% of our American president does not want them released. Trump's treating these Epstein files like the grumpy old neighbor on Halloween. He turns off all the lights and just hopes the trick-or-treaters will assume there's nobody home. He's like, do you people not understand what a wonderful secret means?
Colbert delivered a sharp joke that shocked the audience, comparing Trump in a way that made the studio erupt with laughter, while viewers at home reacted just as strongly. The moment sparked massive backlash, with the FCC receiving over 10,000 complaints. But after a review, no fines or penalties were given. The joke was judged as comedy rather than a real scandal, and instead of hurting the show, it boosted ratings. In the end, the line that almost seemed risky enough to threaten his career became the moment that defined it.
Couldn't have this wonderful news for my dear friend Jimmy and his amazing staff. They continue the show. You know, I'm so happy for them. Plus, now that Jimmy's not being canceled, I get to enjoy this again. I was stressed. Once more, I am the only martyr in late nights. Wait, unless, CBS, you want to announce anything? Yes.
When I heard it, I was in the midst of, building a great, for 150 years, they've wanted a ballroom at the White House, right? They don't have a ballroom. They have to use tents on the lawn for President Xi when he comes over. If it rains, it's a wipeout. And so I was with the architects that would design. It's going to be incredible.
Like that. And why are we building a $200 million ballroom in the White? Is it possible that he's doing it intentionally so we could be bad about that instead of the Epstein list? By the time he's out of office.
Colbert didn't stop there. In December 2023, after Trump said in an interview that he would be a dictator only on day one, the comment caused major backlash. The next night, Colbert looked straight into the camera and joked, "That's like saying I'll only murder once." The audience exploded with laughter, because the joke felt rooted in the actual quote, delivered with perfect timing. That's Colbert's style, making people laugh by leaning into the truth rather than avoiding it.
So Disney put Kimmel back on because you, the American people, were upset, okay? But not just people, also Ted Cruz. It's true. Cruz was one of the conservatives who were outraged by the administration's attack on free speech.
He threatens explicitly, we're going to cancel ABC's license. We're going to take him off the air so ABC cannot broadcast anymore. He threatens it. He says, we can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way.
Yeah.
And I got to say, that's right out of Goodfellas. That's right out of a mafioso coming into a bar going, nice bar you have here. It'd be a shame if something happened to it.
Wow, I gotta say, I am shocked that I agree with Ted Cruz on something.
Today, Caitlin Collins from CNN asked Trump whether he plans to pardon Epstein's right-hand woman, Ghislaine Maxwell, and whereas he's usually, very quick to weigh in bigly on this type of thing, for this one, suddenly even-tempered and even deferential.
The Supreme Court is back in session. Yeah. They rejected today an appeal by Ghislaine Maxwell to overturn her conviction. That means her only chance at getting out of prison is a pardon from you. Is that something you're open to?
Who are we talking about?
Ghislaine Maxwell.
I haven't heard the name in so long. I can say this, that I'd have to take a look at it. I'll look at it. I have a lot of people who have asked me for pardons. I call him Puff Daddy has asked me for a pardon.
She was convicted of child sex trafficking.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have to take a look at it. I have to ask DOJ.
Oh, yeah. Ask DOJ and get back to us, please. We'd love to.
Everything changed on June 3, 2024, when Colbert had a full circle moment after Trump's guilty verdict in the hush money case. During the show, he turned to the audience and led a chant of "Lock him up," echoing the same slogan heard at Trump's 2016 campaign rallies. The studio filled with ironic energy, as the phrase that once targeted others was turned back on him, creating a moment of televised satire that millions watched.
But I'm even more shocked that he somehow got Robert De Niro to come on the podcast. That was beautiful. Meh, see, meh, I'm taking off the air. See, meh, I'm the FCC. Meh, meh. ABC was being flooded with complaints about taking Jimmy off the air, but not all those complaints went to the right place, because down under, the Australian Broadcasting Company, which also goes by the initials ABC, was being barraged by misdirected complaints about the Kimmel suspension. Come on, folks. Leave him alone. Don't attack Australian ABC. I mean, there's nothing, they never canceled their popular late night host.
The clip went viral worldwide within minutes, with the same caption appearing everywhere. Colbert had flipped the script. That's the brilliance of both hosts. Kimmel uses Trump's own words against him, while Colbert turns his slogans into theatrical moments. One reads his posts aloud, the other transforms his lines into performance. Together, they've achieved what pundits, prosecutors, and critics couldn't, holding up a mirror long enough for the reflection to speak for itself.
Now, there's a lot going on there. It's like one of those optical illusions where you can't tell if it's an old woman or a young ball sack. You gotta move, what's that?
He calls him Puff Daddy. That's relevant. The notorious PIG is busy with all manner of distractions right now. He rallied the troops in Norfolk over the weekend at an event to commemorate the 250th anniversary of the Navy. He treated the crowd to his signature dance and to his still inexplicable theme song. I mean, come on, if you're gonna play the Village People, how do you not go within the Navy on that day? It's not...